The man walked toward the hole. Jake shoved him down. It turned out this hole led straight to the basement. Upstairs, the race had already begun. Everyone's attention was glued to the track, so no one would suspect that someone was plotting to rob the vault. Thanks to having memorized the layout in advance, they quickly reached the area beneath the vault. Jake's brother, Mike, was already waiting there. He handed Joe the correction fluid and a plastic bag he'd asked for. Under the confused stares of the two men, Joe poured both the gummy bears and correction fluid into the plastic bag. Though they had no idea what Joe was doing, Jake still handed him the bottle. He stepped forward to question Joe. It was the first time he'd ever heard of using gummy bears to make a bomb. Joe started to explain. Good grief, were they here to rob a vault, or sit through a chemistry class? Even after the lesson, these two students still didn't understand. Next, Joe stuffed the plastic bag into the bottle, then placed it into the pipe that transported cash. The pipe was filled with heat, but after waiting for ages, they heard no explosion. The next second, the bottle came back out, unharmed. It barely missed hitting Jake, but he didn't dare move an inch. This thing could explode at any moment. Joe carefully opened the lid and realized the bag had been tied too tight. He adjusted the tightness, put the bag back in, and slid the bottle into the pipe again. Soon, fueled by the heat inside, the bottle exploded violently, successfully blowing a hole in the pipe. Before long, thick smoke drifted into the restaurant. The staff thought there was a fire somewhere, so they called the control center. The control center hadn't heard any alarms, but to be safe, they decided to send someone to check. Meanwhile, the robbers had started using a powerful vacuum to suck the cash out of the pipe. In an instant, wads of cash poured out into the trash can. When the amount of money coming out started to dwindle, the robbers cranked up the vacuum's power, but they lost their grip, and all the cash in the pipe spilled onto the floor. They had to reverse the vacuum's direction to suck the money back in. But just then, disaster struck. The long-haired man's prosthetic leg got sucked into the pipe, blocking it completely.
Oh yeah, please, well, perhaps you sucked my arm off.